By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school magic. And today I have perhaps the most budget-friendly format for you in old school. It is Revised 40. Well, I guess you also have Fallen Empires 40, right? That's a thing now as well, so maybe that's even more budget-friendly. But anyway, it's a very budget-friendly format, so if you like what you see, consider stepping into the Revised 40 game. And today I am playing against Juriaan, friend of the channel and also just a friend. And he is playing a mono red burn today, so he's got often trolls, lightning bolts, disintegrates, perhaps a fireball as well in there, an earthquake, just lots of burn. And I'm playing this burn of violence with my red-white flyers deck, so I also have some burn actually. So this can be a very short episode, but maybe a very explosive episode as well. Now I've got lovely deck photos of both of these decks, but before I jump into the deck, first a quick message from our sponsor, 3for1 Trading. 3for1 Trading is one of Europe's leading Magic the Gathering retailers. Their online shop has a fantastic selection of high-end Magic cards, especially for vintage, legacy, and yes, old school Magic players. They now exclusively offer my community free, fully insured and fast worldwide shipping on all their high-end singles, full sets, and out-of-print sealed products. They upload new cards every Wednesday and have weekly sale offers and reductions waiting just for you. Use my code TIMMY to get free worldwide shipping on your first order over $500 or euros. Have fun ordering those cards, and thank you 3for1 Trading for sponsoring this video. And we are back and ready to dive into those deck techs. I'm going to start with my deck, Red White Flyers. Let's have a look. And here we see my deck, Red and White Flyers. Now, maybe it's good to note before I start talking about what the deck wants to do, that when you're playing Revised 40, there are some specific rules. For example, you can only play with 5 rares, and you can only play with 3 copies of the same rare, right? So the rares here in this deck, of course, are Shivan Dragon, Mana Flare, I've got Balance, and I've got 2 Earthquakes. Those are the rares. There are more specific rules when building the deck, and if you want to know all about that, please check the description below, because there I've explained a little bit more about Revised 40, and there's a link to the Revised 40 website. So if you want to know more about the format, check out the description below. What I personally like about the format, and you can see that in this deck as well, that it's really basic. Most decks just only have 1 concept or 2 concepts at most tucked away in their deck, right? It's not that complex, and it really shows kind of the purity of, in this case, the Revised set, you know, what you could do within Revised. Because here you see the very simple synergy between I'm only playing with flying creatures, and so I'm playing with earthquakes, right? That kind of makes sense. That's a natural synergy. Also, I'm playing with just a lot more burn. Besides that, 3 disintegrates and a fireball. So that makes, of course, a Mana Flare really useful in this deck. Plus, Mana Flare works together quite well with the Dragon Whelps and the Shivan Dragon. So it's all not that complex. And I think the reason here to play white is because, you know, white gives you access, to Sarah Angel, which is, of course, a really good creature, and to Disenchant, and, of course, to Balance, which is amazing when you're behind. It's really a reset button, you know, if you're losing. Anyway, this is my deck. There's not that much to tell about it, right? It's pretty straightforward. Now let's take a look at the deck of Juriaan, which I think is also pretty straightforward because he's playing a mono red burn. And here we see the deck of Juriaan, mono red burn. And I think the first thing that I notice here is that we have a lot of cards in common, right? He's playing 3 disintegrates and a fireball. I do too. He's playing Dragon Whelps 3, I do too. He's playing Mana Flare, so do I. He's playing an Earthquake, I'm playing 2 Earthquakes. So a lot of things in common here. Of course, we also played Lightning Bolts, but the big difference is that he's going fully mono red, and I've got, of course, a red-white deck. And because he's gone fully mono red, he chose to go with Often Trolls, oi, 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 and combine those with Nevinyrral's Discs. And of course, Nevinyrral's Disc and Often Troll is a pretty good combination because you can regenerate your troll so your troll doesn't die. And I think the disc can be a really good way to reset the board for Juriaan here in this matchup, especially when I'm having a lot of like bigger flyers on the battlefield. The problem for Juriaan, of course, is that I am playing with white, so I have access to Disenchant. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to end up. I believe we both have Quake decks. We both have, of course, a lot of burn. So this could be a very, very, very close match. There's one thing I would like to mention because it could be relevant in this match. When Juriaan was building this deck, he thought Goblin Balloon Brigade was a common. Of course, it's an uncommon, so strictly speaking, he's playing with too many uncommons in this deck, according to the Revised 40 rules, so he probably has to swap them out for example, for amongst Goblin Raiders. And that, of course, makes a difference. I don't know if it's going to be relevant for this match, but I just wanted to mention it in case you're thinking, hey, there's something wrong with this deck. So, you know, that's why you thought it was common. Turned out to be uncommon. Anyway, this is the list of Juriaan. We looked up my list, so let's go, right? Let's go to the Revised 40 battle. Game number 1, here we go. So I'm playing red-white Flyers, and my opponent Juriaan is playing a mono red burn. Look at his hand here. Ooh, lots of Goblin Balloon Brigades, 3 in total. That is a lot, and of course it disintegrates, so he can have a really quick start. Now let's see my hand here. Okay, so I see a Pegasus, 2 planes. I don't see red mana though. That could be an issue. I also have a Bolt there, Sarah Angel. And of course we see Juriaan here starting with a Goblin Balloon Brigade turn 1, the 1/1 Goblin, and for 1 red you can give it flying. Untap, upkeep, let's see what he's going to do here in his second main. First he's going to attack, put me on 19. Playing 2 more Goblin Balloon Brigades. Wow. Let's see what I can do. Do I have a balance maybe? Nope, it's the Pegasus. So the 1/1 flyer with banding, passing the turn. And Juriaan has, of course, a lightning bolt in hand. Could consider bolting the Pegasus, but is just attacking and making the trade here. So I'm going to lose the Pegasus. He's going to lose a Goblin Balloon Brigade, and I take 2 damage. I'm on 17. And playing another Plains. I do believe I see another Pegasus in hand there. Shivan Dragon in hand, but I can't cast that, of course. Okay, here we see a Mesa Pegasus. So the 1/1 flyer again. And there's a bolt now on the Pegasus, attacking for 2. I'm on 15. And okay, finally a mountain. So I do have a bolt in hand. I've got an Earthquake in hand, but they're not great against the Goblin Balloon Brigades. There's the attack. Yep, there we see a bolt. And then he's playing the Often Troll. Very clever, because that would have been a great target for that lightning bolt. Tapping 3. Oh, of course, the Earthquake that I had in my opener. So that's great. 2 for 1 here. Yeah, bad news for Juriaan here. Dropping to 18. I'm on 12. There's another mountain. Mountain number 4, passing the turn. Okay, so I've got some, some space to breathe. If I can find land number 5, I could play out that Sarah Angel that I have in hand, but just passing turn. More mountains for Juriaan, also just passing the turn. Okay, this is land number 5. Tapping 5. Are we going to see a Sarah Angel? Sarah Angel hitting the board. 4/4 flyer that doesn't have to tap when she attacks. But exactly, it gets burned away. And I'm kind of happy that he's not playing it directly on my face, to be honest. Because he has another disintegrating hand and a bolt. So I think if he would have just played it on my face 2 turns in a row and bolt me, I would be dead. But I decided not to do that. And we are playing quite quick, by the way. Tapping 2 here. Okay, isn't Mana Flare 3 to cast? Question mark. I believe it's 3, not 2. So what I'm doing here is actually not possible because I need to tap 3 mana for the flare and then I have 2 lands open. There we see a bolt directly on my life total dropping to 9. And yep, there's a disintegrate, dead. Okay, luckily my mistake wasn't relevant, but that's odd. I know Mana Flare is 3. Anyway, I probably really wanted to cast that Shivan Dragon, so I was blinded with that opportunity. But the Mana Flare also killed me. I think Mana Flare in this matchup is probably a card to to board out. But you know what? We'll see what's going to happen in game number 2. Game number 2. Here we go. Let's see what I can do. I'm on the play now. So that's something at least. Let's look at my hand. Okay, so we see Earthquake, Shivan Dragon, Lightning Bolt, Disintegrate, and Lance. So it's a slow hand. The Bolt is nice. If he drops a 1/1, I can at least bolt it. Let's see what Juriaan has, if he's going to show us his hand. And there we see his hand. Okay. So he's got a Goblin Balloon Brigade, a Mana Flare, Disintegrate, Dragon Whelp. So yeah, he can of course have that Balloon Brigade turn 1. I'm probably going to bolt it. Drawing a bolt there from the top for Juriaan. There's a Balloon Brigade. Yeah, and there's the Lightning Bolt. Makes sense also because my hand's a bit slower. Ooh, look at that. Finding a Mana Flare from the top. So I didn't board the Mana Flares out. That is stupid or really gutsy. Probably a little bit of both. I mean, yes, Mana Flare is good for my deck, but I think it's way better for Juriaan. Well, way better, but better for Juriaan. Let me put it that way. Anyway, tapping 3 here. Are we going to see that Mana Flare? There's the Mana Flare. Okay, so now all the lands tap for 2 instead of 1. And Juriaan can take advantage of that right now. And he also has, I believe, a Mana Flare in hand. So he's going to tap 2, tap 4. And he's going to use 3 of those mana to cast the Mana Flare. So now each land taps for 3. So he can now also cast the Dragon Whelp. Exactly, Dragon Whelp hitting the board, 2/3 flyer. And for 1 red, you can give it +1/+0. So that Whelp alone could deal 11 points of damage to me next turn. So I think I really need to get rid of the Dragon Whelp and then ideally also play a threat. I mean, I do have a lot of mana now. Okay, tapping 9 mana, what am I going to do? Shivan Dragon, okay, for 6. And a Mesa Pegasus, 1/1 flying banding, so I could block in a band if the Pegasus survives. Which is a pretty big if you ask me. So he's going to tap and double bolt here on the Shivan. Okay, so the Shivan's going to die, not the Pegasus. Then he's going to attack. I kind of have to chump here, I think. I mean, this is really tough. If I don't block, I'm going to take 11 damage, drop to 9. And I mean, I'm playing against the burn deck. I don't think that's an option. So I have to block here. Oh, man. This is a concern. Look at this. Disintegrate to the dome. Dropping to 12. Oh, my. It's not looking good. I just need to deal with the Dragon Whelp first. That's the first point of business. And then I can start to rebuild. Yep, there we go. There's a Disintegrate killing the Dragon Whelp. Passing the turn here, unfortunately. Not doing anything else. That is not great. Does he have a burn spell here? I hope not. Oh, yes, it's burn. I'm so burned out. I'm a crisp right now. So I'm losing here. 0-2. But don't go away because we did play game number 3 because, you know, it's fun. So we played a game 3. Hopefully, I can get my win there. And to show you that my red-white Flyers deck is actually quite good. Even though you wouldn't really believe it when you see it in this matchup. But trust me, it's a good deck. Anyway, we're going to shuffle up and we'll catch back up with you in game number 3. Game number 3, the bonus game. Let's see if I can get a win in at least. I mean, this deck is actually pretty good. But yeah, Burn is just tough to play against. I don't have any life gain. Okay, I've got Soul Ring in here, so that's kind of nice. That Soul Ring and Dragon Whelp, maybe I can play it out early. I also had a Balance there in hand. So Balance can also be brutal, of course. Maybe I can use it kind of as a discard spell against Juriaan. Let's take a look at what Juriaan has. 2 mountains there, some burn, Mana Flare. Okay, Dragon Whelp as well. That creature, that's an often troll. And then he's going to keep. Starting with a mountain here into Soul Ring, passing the turn. So if I can find another mountain, I could go turn 2 Dragon Whelp. There we see a Basalt Monolith here for Juriaan, passing the turn. Starting with a mountain. There's a plane. So this is unfortunate, right? Here you really want to have, your second red to play out that Dragon Whelp early. But look at this, still cannot find the second red. Tapping 5. Are we going to see a Serra Angel? Yep, there's a Serra Angel. So it's kind of nice. 4/4 flyer. And there's the pass. There's a mountain. Tapping 3 red. What are we going to see for 3 red? Basalt Monolith, perhaps? I hope. Also has Mana Flare, of course. Gonna go for the Monolith passing the turn. So next turn he's got 6 mana, enough to kill the Serra. At least I can get 4 damage in. Put him on 16. Tapping 5 more, another Serra. Okay, 2 Serras hitting the board. Now I've got some pressure on the life total here of Juriaan. Another mountain. He's got, of course, a Dragon Whelp he could play out. Could consider tapping the Monolith and 2 red for a Dragon Whelp. Pump 2 red into the Whelp to make a trade for the Serra Angel. That's one of the things he can do. Also, he can go for, of course, the Mana Flare. Tapping the Monolith here for 3. Going to use 2 of those. Yeah, he's going to play the Mana Flare, so still 1 colorless mana floating. So now all the lands tap for 2. That's 2 mana in the pool, 4 in the pool, taking number 5 as well. Yep, there's a Disintegrate killing one of the 2 angels. And I think that's it for him then, looking at the hand. Well, he could go double bolt. Is that double bolt in hand? Double bolt on the angel. There's the attack. Are we going to see double bolt? No, he's going to take the damage. Perhaps it's not 2 bolts in the hand. Or by the way, it's hard to see. Could also be enough control. And yep, there's a bolt. So I think that other card is not a bolt, but enough control. Anyway, playing a bolt here on my Dragon Whelp. But I'm not unhappy. I'm still on 20. Juriaan's on 12. But I mean, it could still get burned out pretty bad. There we see another Dragon Whelp. That's unfortunate. Because I really don't want to trade my Sarah for the Whelp. I mean, a bolt would be perfect here. I do see a fireball in hand there for me, I believe. Counting the amount of mana. Gonna tap. And I think I can deal 3 here to the Dragon Whelp and 3 here to Juriaan. And I guess that's exactly what I'm doing here. So Juriaan dropping to 9, then I can swing in. And I can put him on 5, exactly. So he's going to go to 5, passing the turn. I mean, it's looking pretty good for me. And I guess he untapped the monolith there in my end step. Ooh, he's going to tap a lot of mana. Yeah, he's going to burn out my angel. That was to be expected, but the angel did a lot of work. Can't complain. Double off control here. Oi, oi, oi. So double off control, 2/1 red to give it regeneration. Ooh, but look at this. This is brutal. Earthquake here. Winning the game, actually. Killing the trolls and winning the game. Okay, that took a moment for me to realize that this Earthquake is winning me the game. That's pretty cool. Okay, so winning here, at least in game number 3. I'm happy to have won the bonus match. Thank you, Juriaan, for these games of Revised 40. It's a format I don't play often. Maybe I should play it more often. Let me know in the comments below. Would you like to see more Revised 40? How do you feel about the Revised 40 format? It would be great to hear from you. And for now, thank you for watching. And before you go, please take a moment to like, comment, and share. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward. Another thing that you can do, of course, is become a patron of the show. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks for all the information. And when you become a patron at the sorcerer level or up, your name will be mentioned at the end of every video in the end scroll. What end scroll? This end scroll.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises early in the morning. Put him in the longboat until he's sober, put him in the longboat until he's sober, put him in the longboat until he's sober early in the morning. Way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. She rises early in the morning. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Way up she rises. Way up she rises. Way up she rises early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Put him in the scout to the host my son. Put him in the scout to the host my son. Put him in the scout to the host my son.
Ficus, somba, kazee.